Today's collectible spot, we're having a look at the Square Enix Play Arts Kai Batman Arkham City No.6 Poison Ivy. Released at the same time as Harley Quinn. Poison Ivy was a figure that I picked up at the same time, and I picked up both figures from the good folks over at Super Power Collectibles. I'm going to provide the link down below if you certainly would like to pick up this, as well as the Harley Quinn that Spot has already reviewed. On the front of the package is a picture of the actual figure of Harley Quinn, of Poison Ivy, as opposed to just an artist rendering of the character. And on the back, before we open up the inside of the box, on the back there's a picture of I keep wanting to say Harley Quinn. On the back there's a picture of Poison Ivy again. Collect all figures in this series, over 26 points of articulation. And speaking of which, there is number 5 down there, the Harley Quinn there. So impressed with that Harley Quinn. That was such a great figure. To certainly check out not only Harley Quinn, but as well as Poison Ivy, you can also go to Square Enix. That's squareenix.com. Actually, it's square-enix-shop.com. On the inside of the box, I'm just going to open this up here. On the inside, you can see there's Poison Ivy. We'll get into that get into the figure in a second. And on the side, there's a nice picture of Poison Ivy. It says, a botanist turned evil enchantress. With her chlorophyll blood and green skin color, Poison Ivy is a plant-human hybrid. She uses her seductive charms and mind-controlling pheromones as her primary weapon. Poison Ivy is an enchantress who tries to destroy humans and the city to achieve a botanical paradise, valuing the lives of her plants as if they were her own children. It says Arkham City, a dark city where criminals swarm. Within the parameters of Gotham City lies Arkham City. Since the election of a new mayor, the whole area has been turned into one big prison, and convicts that were contained in the psychiatric hospital, doubling as a prison facility, Arkham Asylum, of which this new mayor was former warden, were moved there. The area is an abundant spread of land, and the criminals have free reign as long as they don't try to escape Arkham City. Once again, evil has swarmed the town tonight. What I am going to do is take a break. I'm going to get this opened up, and when we come back, we're going to get a better look at Poison Ivy. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. As with the Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy does come with a clear display stand. You can see the Spot actually has not put it together yet, but it's the same display stand, that we've gotten with all the other Square Enix Play Arts Kai Batman figures. So, if you want to see a fully assembled display stand, certainly check out the other reviews I've done. I put those together, but it's essentially the exact same display stand, so it's still in its package. Moving that out of the way, though, let's have a look at Poison Ivy, and once again, I am incredibly impressed with the work that Play Arts Kai and Square Enix certainly have done for the figure. Looking at the accessories that she comes with 2 pairs of hands, or 1 pair of hands. I will show you that in a second. Or at least I'll show you that on the figure in a second. She does also come with a display stand. Oh, there she goes. I'm just going to lay her down for a second. She does also come with a display stand that is really nicely detailed. The level of paint and really the layers of paint that they've put into this, quite nice. Not only have we gotten the green, a couple of different shades of green, we got a nice bright red, almost like an orangey red, and then there's this darker color that they've put washed over top. Even as close, if we zoom into like the thorns, you can see where all the detail on those thorns have come right out of the plant. Almost in a violent fashion, the way that they've designed and painted those. There's also a little Venus flytrap mouth on the side there, a couple of little extra flowers. There is a section where you can put her foot. Just quickly showing you. Oh, and also, by the way, this section right here This you have to assemble. You pop this piece in to this piece right here, and then this little guy you have to pop in as well. Now I've had him fall off a couple of times, but I think once you get it on there, it shouldn't be a problem. But what you can do, I just take here I go seeing Harley Quinn again, but if you take the poison ivy, you can just kind of have the plant kind of just intertwined, just kind of wrapping itself around poison ivy, doing something like that. That's a pretty good way to have her displayed. It's entirely up to you. I mean, you could use you could put the other leg in there as well if you wanted to. Just like so. And in this case, you would just wrap this around, maybe having the plant wrapping around her leg, even just something like that. But I like the fact that you can do that. That's a really neat touch. And it shows extremely well by having that display basis piece as a part of the figure. Moving that out of the way, I guess the last accessory she also does come with is these extra vine pieces. Very violent, in fact, very similar to the vine that's extending out from the base as well. You've got all these spikes on the ends, just really a really large spike. You can imagine it's probably covered in some sort of poisonous sap. And it's twisted around the edge, so what you can do is, ever so slightly, you can have the branch wrapping around her wrists. Like so. You kind of have to do a little finagling. There goes Spot using that word, finagling again. But you can finagle it around her wrists. You can it's all right. I probably won't have her displayed with them. But I mean, it's nice that she's included with them, even if I don't feel really the need to include them. Anyways, having a look at really the best aspect of this figure, and that is the figure itself. Now, the only real comparison that we have is we have the Harley Quinn. The problem is, Spots was so impressed with the Harley Quinn that I keep saying Harley Quinn, but the only other poison ivy that we have, as far as I know, is depicted from the Arkham City games, is the one from DC Direct. Now, I've already done the review of it, and really the big issue for me, the face wasn't bad. The big issue for me was the hair. They had sculpted this hair on her like she was a bride of Frankenstein. It just basically jetted right out. I didn't like that figure for that real reason. I mean, the rest of the figure as a whole worked pretty good. I didn't like that hair. Gotta say though, Square Enix and Play Arts Kai, they definitely did a much better job on that hair. I mean, I like the fact that it still kind of has the way it's sculpted in a similar fashion, but for starters, it's more curved down, and I think that works much better. The coloring definitely works a lot better as well. You can see indications of these strands of hair, but I kind of like the fact that they've got these dark patches of black in it, or darker red in it. It gives it a really organic look to it, as opposed to it just being straight out hair. The sculpting on the side of the face is phenomenal. As you can see, all the vines and leaves and stuff like that running up the side of her face. She's got that dark green going on around those leaves, as well as in the ear there, just to bring out some of that depth. And let's not, of course, forget the face. You may or may not be able to tell, but she has these fluorescent green eyes. Works exceptionally well on this really green colored skin. She's also got the dark red lips. I also am really liking the eyeshadow, or like darker wash around the eyes. It really gives her that absence, that almost emotionless expression on her. And I think it works so incredibly well. The detail also carries all the way down into the upper torso. Buttoned in the front there by her Arkham jacket. On the back there it says Arkham City. Taking nothing, of course, away from the jacket itself. The jacket itself is quite nice too. A couple of different colors. You got the brown, you got the lighter tan there as well. Details such as these straps are all predominantly painted. Nothing looks like it's been missed. Paint, for the most part, is really clean. I don't see any glaring issues when it comes to paint. Even really the back of the collar, an area you might not have even caught, and still nicely colored in and accurately painted in. For this particular Poison Ivy, she's essentially just wearing like a plant underwear, essentially. And then just the jacket. I mean, that's it. She's barefooted. But I mean, you can see all the details in her legs. It's also textured too, which I like also. It's not just simply just painted on there. You know what? I really got to say, like the Play Arts Kai, the Harley really impressed me. But I mean, the Poison Ivy has equally impressed me for how fantastic of a job that they've done. I mean, this really trumps anything that DC Direct has now done. For me, if they could just keep releasing Arkham City versions of these figures, I would much more be picking up these rather than the DC Direct. The DC Direct, again, were good, but they were just missing something. I also, something else too that I'm pretty sure I would have mentioned in the review of the DC Direct Poison Ivy, is that her face seemed awfully round from what I can remember. Very similar to the Harley Quinn from Play Arts Kai. I like that her face is narrow, and she's got this narrow pointed chin. It looks much more feminine to me as opposed to what we were getting with the DC Direct figures. She's got an incredible side profile. In fact, that's almost how I would want to pose the figure, is kind of having it posed with that side profile. Because really, for me, that nothing tops that. Going back, though, she does have an alternate pair of hands. You can just wiggle the hands just to kind of remove them from these pegs. And something I mentioned with the Harley Quinn, I would be very careful with these pegs as they are very fine, very thin. You wouldn't want to bend them or break them. Take the alternate hand, wiggle it back on, and you've got these really neat hands, which, for what they are, could work easily for the vine. In fact, looking as if she's throwing it out at Batman. But even really without that, I kind of just like the way it's gestured. I love the gesture that she's got going on there. It's almost as if, you know, even if she didn't have the vines, it's almost as if you had her on her display stand, you could just almost imagine that she's probably about to summon plants on Batman or on Robin. She does have the two alternate hands, but again, they're very similar to one another. I might be inclined, you know what, I'll just take the other one off just to show you guys. Take that other hand off and put the other hand on. It may lose something perhaps with both hands having it like this, unless, again, you're going to be using the vines. If not, it might look like she's summoning an orchestra or something like that. In the way of Poison Ivy's articulation, something again that I probably have already mentioned with the Play Arts Kai Harley Quinn was, whereas the male figures, the male bodies, I find I have a little harder of a time to conceal joints. I find the women, on the other hand, the women figures, the female figures, seem to do an excellent job of concealing articulation. Now, in the way of her articulation, you can see that she has quite an easy-to-move ball-jointed head. With the expression as it is, I mean, you can really get some nice, different angles on that head and still really convey this absence of compassion. She has the upper torso ball joint, as you can see right there. Her elbows, or actually her shoulders, you can see move out. There's a little hinge on the shoulder area there. The hands move forward, back, out. She has a bend at the elbow, a rotation also in the upper, right at that sleeve. You can see that it rotates. She does also rotate at the forearm, rotate and hinge at the hand. She's got a lower torso bend, which more or less just bends up and down. It doesn't really do too... You can move it back and forth. It's a little stiffer on this figure, which no complaints certainly at all there. And then as for the legs go out. They go forward, back. She has a double bend at the knee, and finally a hinge and rotation in the foot. Several things I really like about this figure. You got lots of articulation, you get a fantastic sculpt, a fantastic paint job, and add those all up and you get yourself a really well executed figure that I am extremely happy to now own. I'm looking at this figure and I'm almost thinking to myself, as much as I like the Harley Quinn, I might even like Poison Ivy just a little bit more. I think it's just the green, the red, everything else is doing it so well. And the sculpt on the face, once again, is phenomenal. The Play Arts Kai, Batman, Arkham City. I think Poison Ivy here, I'm going to give her a 9.5. If you are going to get one figure, I would say equally you would want to get Harley Quinn as well. But if you're going to get one figure of the two, I almost feel like Poison Ivy is the better figure. Harley Quinn I like just because I like Harley Quinn, but Poison Ivy is done so incredibly well. She definitely leaves other Poison Ivy figure and collectibles in the dust. Today's collectible spot, we're having a look at the Square Enix Play Arts Kai. We're having a look today at Batman Arkham City. There I go saying Harley Quinn again. We're looking today at Poison Ivy. Just a phenomenal figure. Definitely worth picking up though. Certainly stick around, guys. Spot's got more collectible spots heading your way. See you guys next time.